Hey, welcome to week 4. It's Dr. Henkel here, and we are working on being almost halfway done with this course. So, y'all have done a really great job, and we're going to just kind of go over this next week and review a few things and talk about a few things. So, let's start off with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving us this day that we can come and praise you for all the great things that you have done in our lives, Lord, for helping us to be diligent students and instructors to be able to work towards a goal that would ultimately give you glory in the end, Lord. And I just pray that you would be with us as we progress through this week and guide my students as they're writing their book reports and their forum discussions and their article assignments, and just help them and guide them and just be able to minister, help them learn so they can minister to others um, in a way that would be conducive to showing the love of you through us, Lord, to others, and ultimately to give you the glory in the end. And so others can learn about you through us and just help us as we go out our daily lives to be able to have those divine appointments and to be bold to speak to others about your love and what you've done for us in our lives, Lord. And let us be a testimony to them. And we love you and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So I hope everybody's having a great start to their week. We are currently working on July 25th through July 31st. So this is week 4 for advanced teaching methods. So if you click on week 4, you'll have the overview discussion here. And here's the objectives for you to read. And we're going to go and read chapters 7 and 8. So here are the PowerPoints. And then here are all the different materials that you need for this week, okay? So your first activity is a forum discussion. And what you're going to do is you are going to submit your topic for your online presentation that you are going to submit on week 8 at the very end of this course. Okay, so for your presentation, your topic is going to be something over some type of methods of teaching. So you need to think, what is a method of teaching that I would like to know more about? Or if you're an admin, something that you would like your teachers to know more about. So you want to investigate this teaching method, okay? So it could be one that we've discussed in class, or it could be one that you have heard before that we haven't discussed. And you're going to create an online presentation just like this, like I'm doing an online presentation for you now to watch, but you're going to give it and you're going to discuss some type of teaching method. And remember, at the first of the course, I showed you some documents that go over this, okay? So we want to try to keep our topics not to be doubled up. So read what's been placed first, and then if your topic has already been picked, then try to think of another topic that you could investigate. Okay, so that way you're going to be able to watch other people's presentations, and we don't want to have duplicates. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, please let me know. And also remember, at the beginning of the year, you got a PDF about that. Let me pull it up for you. Hmm. Let me see if it's in your syllabus. Because there's your book summary, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I'm going to pull up your syllabus. Okay. Okay, so here it is. You'll prepare and give an online presentation. It's going to be at least 15 to 20 minutes in length on an approved topic. So that's where you'll submit it and I'll give you approval. You don't have to respond to your classmates' topic, okay? It's just for you to put in there so that we know what it is and we're not duplicating any topics. Um, you're going to submit it for approval. You're going to create a PowerPoint presentation or Keynote or Google Slides. You can use any of those. And then you're going to use a program such as Screencast-O-Matic or Screencastify. And I use Screencastify. It's right there. See, it's recording right now. Okay. That's a good one for me. So if you want to try either one of those, and you can record your lesson, and then you're going to put it on YouTube, and then you'll submit the link to your video, so that way it can get graded, and then your other students in the class, your peers, will be able to have it for a resource. So just read that over as you are preparing and thinking about that, okay? So now we'll go back to week 4. So that's your first forum. Your second one is you're going to talk about parental involvement in education. So you're going to read some articles, watch some videos, and then you are going to submit your forum here. So there's 2 videos. So do you agree or disagree with them? Describe that. How can this impact a Christian educator? How can we better communicate with parents? And what are some tools that you would recommend? And so you'll post this 300-word post by Thursday. That way you can respond to 2 classmates by Sunday of 100 words in length. The first post is worth 14 points. And then your 2 additional posts to your peers will be worth 3 points each for a total of 20 points. Okay, and those are additive, so they add up as you submit that. So technically those are your 3 forums, because the first one you're going to go in and talk about something that I'm going to prompt you to talk about, but I haven't told you that yet. Okay, so moving down, you're going to create a lesson plan, and there's a lesson plan rubric. Okay, it's right here. And then you're also going to use this action verb handout and conditions and criteria handout. So it's your Bloom's taxonomy, like your higher order thinking skills and the type of verbiage that you should use in your lesson planning to correlate with those higher levels of thinking. So you're going to incorporate that into your lesson plan. And so here's your lesson plan template. I'll open that in just a second. Let me click on this so I can show you. Now, I know there's been some confusion, because on your reflective journal essays, I was telling you to write 1 to 2 paragraphs for your application, I believe. And then some of you got doxed because you only wrote 1 paragraph instead of 2, and that was my fault. I'm so sorry. So I went in and I corrected that, and I gave you credit if that was the case. And so now what I'm doing, I'm being more mindful and cognizant of that for y'all to know, so y'all know exactly how I'm going to grade. So here is the rubric for this assignment. So this is your teaching as Jesus taught assignment. So we'll get to lesson plan in a second. I'm so sorry. Okay, so no, we'll go back to that. Lesson plan is what I'm going to click on next. I thought that's what I clicked on, but apparently I didn't. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to create a lesson plan, something that you would like to teach, or maybe it's something that you would like to have your teachers teach, okay? So you're going to use those 2 handouts as discussed in the lesson plan template, and for the objectives, be sure to include action verbs in your objectives, okay? And then you're also going to include how they're going to be evaluated within this document. So you're going to get 10 points for having your objectives with action verbs, 10 points for the evaluation section, 10 points for your material section, procedures section, and homework section, for a total of 50 points for this assignment. So here's the template. Okay, so you'll go ahead and you'll create a lesson plan and fill this template out. You'll submit it to me for grading. So it's pretty good, self-explanatory there for you. If you have any questions, let me know. And then now we'll get to that book summary that I just pulled up a second ago. Teaching as Jesus taught summary. So I also created the rubric on how I'm going to grade you for this. So you're going to finish up reading that book, and then you are going to upload your book summary. But make sure that it includes all of these components so you can get your total score for 100 points for perfect score. So your title page will count as 5 points. Then you're going to need 1-inch margins and 12-point font with Times New Roman. Okay, that's the font that we use for APA for the grad school. Your APA headings need to be there, and that will be for your summary paragraphs and then also for your important ideas list. So whenever you do headings, your main heading is going to be center and bold. Okay. Then on the left, you're going to create your next heading. That's called a heading 2. And it's going to be bold caps. Okay. Just the first letter caps, just like the title is also going to have the first letter caps. And then pretty much that's all you're working with is just 2 headings. Okay, there are more, but you can look on the front cover of your APA manual. I left mine downstairs. So if you look on the front cover, it will show you right there the different headings for you to use. If you don't have an APA manual, let me know and I can screenshot that for you and send it to you. Anything like that, if you don't have the manual because it wasn't on the first syllabus that was originally created for this course, I'm not going to hold that against you, but I do want you to be proactive and reach out to me and say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me out? And I will. I'll send you screenshots. I'll find a source online for you. I'll do whatever it is that I need to do to help you be successful. Okay, that's my job. And I take that very seriously. So you're going to double space it. It's going to be a 3-page summary in total, so 3 total pages, but that's not including your title page. It's going to have a minimum of 5 paragraphs and an important ideas section. So you're going to summarize the book, and that's going to constitute as 3 paragraphs of the 5. Then you're going to state in your own words in a numbered list, example 1 through 5, with a minimum of 5 important ideas in this book which you consider most important or significant. So that's the important ideas section that I'm talking about. You're going to make each point in no less than 2 sentences and list in order of importance. So number 1 will be the most important and 5 being the least out of the 5. State in your own words. Oh, sorry. So that's worth 25 points. Okay. So you can see the points here. Here's another 25 points, and this is going to be 2 to 3 paragraphs, so I won't count it wrong if you only give me 2. Please excuse me for doing that earlier. I do apologize again. And explain the book's significance and what it's meant to you personally. And that's a total of 100 points. So after you've submitted that, then you're going to start working on the Repairing the Ruins book, and you're going to do the same thing, and that's going to be due at week 8. Okay, but right now, you're going to focus on this one and get this submitted, okay? Okay, let's go down here. Okay, so that matrix you started, now you're going to add Wong and Jones because Wong was in chapter 7, and Jones is in chapter 8 of your book. And you're going to add them to that matrix and then upload it again. You're going to add it to what you've already started from last week, okay? Now, here's your last assignment for this week. You're going to do a research article response, Why Tough Teachers Get Good Results. So you're going to read the article, Why Tough Teachers Get Good Results, and provide a 1-paragraph summary. Then provide 1 to 2 paragraphs of your thoughts on the topic and how this is applicable to you. And if you could provide personal examples, that would be great. And then it's the same grading rubric that I added to the last one. So it's there for your review. So you know exactly how I'm going to grade you. Now, right here is a neat website. It's for Fred Jones. He's one of the theorists that you're going to be learning about in chapter 8. And I'm pretty sure, I've heard about him. I've done some workshop studies with Fred Jones teaching methods, as well as Wong. So if you need, you can look through here, and this is the website dedicated to Fred Jones. I just wanted to show you that. It's fredjones.com. Okay, so now I wanted to go over whenever I grade an assignment for you in Word, I save it and I put a number 1 after it because that was the first one that was given to me. And then when I go in, I'm going to mark it for review, and then I will resave it as version 2. And then this will help you as you're doing like a thesis, or if you go into your doctorate or you're doing your capstone or doctorate. It helps keep track of what version, linear method of how you're progressing. And so you don't get mixed up on which one was which. And so it's like the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and so forth. When I did my doctorate, we got it to like 100 and something. I mean, it was just crazy, but it helps us to know. And then I can always go back and see where I was and he asked me to do and so forth. But anywho, what I want you to know how to do is whenever you get it back, and I've gotten permission from Tiffany. Thank you so much. I asked her ahead of time if I could use her work to show you, and she said yes. So thank you so much. So here we go to review. And what you're going to do is when I track changes, I click here, track changes, and then I click the reviewing pane. So then I can start making changes and it makes it in red. Okay. Now, when you get it, you need to accept the changes. So all you do is just click accept and you just go through and move it up a little bit and you just accept it. And so I needed to take away those and then make it just italics. Okay. And so I did that and it's affected instead of effected. Okay, and so I just put in some headings right here. So here's your level 2 heading, applications to the left. It's capitalized and bolded. Okay, that's an example of a level 2 heading. Level 1 heading is right here. Okay, it's centered, it's bolded, it's in caps, not all caps, but first letter caps. And then here's your start of your first letter summary heading. Okay, now see that needs to be reduced, and some of y'all have had y'all do that. So she would have to go in and reduce that one more line. Okay, so anyway, we'll go to accept. Let's get all of this accepted. And then you can go in, and then it says there aren't any track anymore. Okay, so that means you finished. And so then if you were going to go in and work on it some more, you would, like this right here needs to be bumped down to the next page, or you could do an insert page break. And then you would go in and you do file, save as, and then you would put it instead of version 2, you would put it as version 3, and then you would send it back to me if need be. Okay, just so you can know how to do that. So if you have any questions on how to do things like that, just let me know. I'm here to help, so that way you can learn that and it's not a problem at all for me to help you. And I can also Zoom call you or do some type of meeting in midweek if you need it. Okay. Let me see. Now, whenever we're teaching our kiddos, it talked a lot about in our reading. We want to, especially last week, teach with equality, and so that we're calling on students equally. And I remember one thing that I've learned and I used to do in the classroom is I would get popsicle sticks and I would write my students' names on these popsicle sticks. So when it came time to call on them, so I'm not calling on the same students over and over again, I would just pull a popsicle stick out and then that was the person that I would call on. And then I would keep them out until I pulled all the popsicle sticks out of this cup. And so everybody got a turn equally, and then I would start over once I've called everybody. So just things like that. If you have anything like ideas, tips you want to share, just add them in your discussions, and those are always fun to read. Caitlin Dunphy, she had a great verse that I wanted to bring up. She talked about Acts 10:34b. It says, God is no respecter of persons, and we should it talks about how God is no respecter of persons. And so we should be the same way as teachers. Whenever we're teaching, that we should hold all the kiddos to the same standard. We want them all to learn, okay? And so we have to be creative on how to implement strategies in our classroom so that we're making sure that we're giving that environment where all students are given the opportunity to learn, and we're not just saying, okay, well, this person's going to learn, so let me just focus on this one because this is my GT kid and I'm just going to let this kid sit over here and not work. He just needs to be quiet. Our book talked about that a lot. I would just let my students sit there, and the author said just as long as they were quiet, that was good enough. And they realized, wow, I'm doing a huge major disservice to those kiddos. And so I really like putting that verse to that God's no respecter of persons, and we should emulate that as well as Christian educators in our classrooms and in our schools. So thank you so much for that, Tiffany. I really appreciate that. So I talked about that. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. You can go over the PowerPoints as you read the Long and Fred Jones chapters. You're gonna really like those. Are easy reads as compared to some other reads. And I know some of these articles that are research articles can be difficult to read, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I think you'll enjoy this one compared to last week. So I heard saw a lot of your comments. So I understand. Trust me. Um, so for your discussion for this week that you're gonna input here in the week 4 overview response, I want you to think about Jones and his model of classroom management. Okay. What are some of its strengths? What are some of the weaknesses of his model? And would it work best in a particular type of school or at a particular grade level? What are your thoughts on that? Strengths, weaknesses, and then do you think it would work at particular schools better than others, or at particular grade levels than other grade levels? So let me know. Let's discuss that this week. And if y'all have any questions, as always, feel free to message me or email me, and I'm here to help you. All right. Thank you, and have a great week. Bye bye.